Well, as I sit here right now, it is about 3:47 p.m., February 7th, 2026, on a Saturday. 10 years ago today, February 7th of 2016, was on a Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. And not just any Super Bowl Sunday, the 50th Super Bowl, and my Panthers were in the game for a second time. We'd been there 12 years earlier, and we had a scrappy group of underdogs that shouldn't have even been in the Super Bowl, but they made it there, and they darn near upset the dynasty itself. New England beat us, made some mistakes there at the end, but we also played very, very well. In an effort that I'm extremely proud of to this day, and I still hold a lot of reverence for that 2003 Carolina Panthers team to this day, and I think I always will. But on this day 10 years ago, I was pumped at this exact time because I was going to watch my Panthers finally win a Super Bowl. I remember I was still living in North Carolina. I was born and raised there. When they announced the team, they announced that we were going to have an NFL franchise in Charlotte, North Carolina, 2 hours from where I lived in my home state. I mean, I was over the moon that we were going to have a team. So I've been a fan from day one. There's a picture of me in 1994. I was 10 years old. The Panthers are still a year away from playing their first game. And I'm already wearing a Carolina Panthers shirt in my school photo. I believe it's fourth grade. And so that's how long I've been a fan. But the reason I was so pumped on this day 10 years ago, we weren't the scrappy underdogs. We were the powerhouse. We went 15-1. We had the MVP, Cam Newton, after a few years of, I'm not sure if this guy's going to do it or if he's just too much about himself or anything. He had, I thought, proved me wrong before ultimately proving me very, very right. But we were going in there and we were facing a Denver Broncos team with Peyton Manning, who was, I would say, on his last legs, but I think his last legs had done broke. Legend, the utmost respect for Peyton, but he was not in good shape at all. It'd be his last game, and for good reason. And we were going to go in there and steamroll the Broncos, and I was going to watch the Panthers win a Super Bowl. And there's even more excitement beyond that. It's like, man, we're going to have a dynasty. The team was young. Cam was young. We had Luke Kuechly. We had Greg Olsen, even though he was getting older. I mean, he still has some good years left. We just had an amazing defense, an amazing offensive line. We had some wide receivers that were hurt that year, but it didn't matter. We had Cam. We had everything. And we were going to run away with that game, and what went forward with that was one of the most disappointing days of my life, and really a life changer, because really from that day forward, I kind of quit putting so much of myself into sports. I'd always been really obsessed with sports and just kept up with everything about them. I didn't really have anything else going on in my life. I've always been socially awkward as hell. I guess that's what they call Asperger's, which I don't think is an official diagnosis anymore. Never really had a lot going on, and so I just kind of poured myself into sports, because at the end of the day, sports was going to be there. You didn't win one year, they started back over at 0-0 the next year. Wish life was like that, but I just kind of lost myself. Now that was my escape, and man, be careful. Luckily, for the last 10 years, I've kind of lived a lot more in reality. I think that's what allowed me to make this move here to the upstate of South Carolina back in 2018, but I didn't know this yet. What happened in Super Bowl 50 is one of the most shameful performances ever. I'm not even just talking about the fumble, which I'll get to in a second. Or the second fumble, I should say, that Cam didn't dive on. That was a very bad game by Cam, and quite honestly, he's the sole reason why we lost that game. Peyton Manning did a good job managing the game, but he couldn't do much. And he didn't try to do much. He just sat back, he understood the situation, he understood the moment, and he let his defense do the job. And do the job they did. They did a great job. I give them a lot of credit. But Cam helped them out a lot, too. He went 18 for 41, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and 2 lost fumbles, which were huge. Peyton Manning went, I think, 13 for 23, not even 200 yards. I don't even know if he got 150 yards or not, but he basically led his team to 2 field goals. the first possession of each half. The opening possession of the game, and then the first time they got the ball in the second half, he led them to a field goal. They got a third field goal off of being set up in good field position from a very weird punt. We punted the ball to Denver. We had like 4 guys converge on the guy, but we all got there too soon. We had to try to back up to try to avoid getting that 15-yard penalty, and in the confusion, the runner got away and got them in field goal range. They couldn't move the ball. So really, that's all that our defense and/or special teams gave up. I think it was the first drive of the game, Newton got sacked, had the ball yanked from him, and right into the end zone, and they scored a direct defensive touchdown. So there's 7 of their points, so that explains 16 of their points. And then, of course, the big one. At the end of the game, we're only down 16-10. All we got is 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left, something like that. I mean, this is the chance to just throw all that bad game away, because Cam had a bad game. Overthrowing people, getting sacked. He was clearly scared of the Denver defense. They did a great job. That was a great defense, but he was scared. You should never be scared. He was scared. And there late in the game, he got strip sacked for the fumble on the 3rd down, and instead of diving on the ball, he ran up, saw the mass of bodies diving for the ball too. He could have got it, but he backed up, and that's the defining play of Cam's career. He was never the same after that. After that MVP season, and after everything that went into that, he was just never ever the same. And because nobody looked at him the same, and that air of invincibility, the dabbing, the Super Bowl, or the Superman thing where he'd always act like he was pulling his shirt off, just didn't happen no more. And well, I mean, actually, I take that back. He still very much celebrated and acted like he was something, but he wasn't something. We all knew it, and he had a pretty sad career, honestly, considering his talent and ability level. He had 3 winning seasons in an 11-year career. Had a losing playoff record. They made it to the playoffs one time with a 7-8-1 record. One of the wins, he wasn't even there. He was hurt that game for that year, but we actually won a playoff game, then got knocked out pretty good by the Seattle Seahawks. So I think we're going to their 2nd consecutive Super Bowl that year, if I'm not mistaken. As opposed to this year, they're going to a Super Bowl with a great story in Sam Darnold, somebody who's actually tried, didn't have the natural ability that Cam Newton has, so very, very different. But that's a career definer for Cam, and since then, since his career ended, he's been in the sports media, giving horrible takes. He's been trashing Drake May, former UNC quarterback, who's the Super Bowl quarterback of the Patriots this year, saying, he's just kind of there. He's not really a game changer and blah, blah, blah. Well, I bet you he'll dive on a fumble if he fumbles. And, I mean, as much as I want to see Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl, just because I want to see that redemption arc, because he was with the Panthers, and we were a bad organization. He didn't have a chance to thrive, and he didn't. We sent him away, just like the Jets, who were a bad organization. He didn't have a chance to thrive. They sent him away. He was a backup at San Francisco. He spent a good year in Minnesota. They got rid of him, deciding J.J. McCarthy was a better pick. And J.J. McCarthy might pan out yet, but, man, right now you got to consider that a trash acquisition for sure. But nobody's going to take Cam seriously. He puts on, he literally wears clown outfits, and, he's always going to be the guy that didn't dive on the ball. And I'll never forget watching that game, just realizing he ain't got it. I mean, he played bad. He sat in the sidelines sulking with a towel over his head. He sulked in the post-game interview and walked off because they dared ask him about his crap performance on the biggest stage after a year of showboating and dabbing and doing the Superman pose and all these dances and stuff. And he just ain't got it. He never had it. And, he can act like he's a big deal in the sports media, but the fact is he's not. That's just all there is to it. So it happened 10 years ago today, and probably one of the better things that ever happened to me, because I learned not to put so much of my self into sports. So thank you, Cam, I think.